Welcome, Fantasy Pros nerds. My name is Andrew Erickson, and today I'm going to be diving back into the spreadsheets and the projections to find 12 draft targets projected for monster seasons in 2023 and half PPR scoring. Now, if you want to find these industry consensus projections, head over to fantasypros.com/NFL/projections. When it comes to projections, they can be a super helpful tool because they help you understand a player's median range of outcomes in your league-specific scoring setting, while also baking in the player's offensive environment. They can also help you realize a player's potential ceiling outcome if the situation stacks in their favor. This projections intel will be key as you create your own tiered rankings and custom cheat sheets in the Fantasy Pros Draft Wizard so you can extract the most upside with each of your draft selections. This is how you can find league winners to dominate your league. Now, before I get into my list of 12 players, if you want a chance to win a one-of-one Ultimate Custom Fantasy Championship belt for your league, courtesy of Trophy Smack, the #1 destination for epic fantasy tournament trophies, you need to subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now, comment below on this video, and that's it. We'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Now, let's get into those numbers. Quarterback Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. Jackson is projected to rush for 1,000 rushing yards and pass for over 3,600 yards, besting his yardage totals from his 2019 MVP campaign, with over 4,500 total combined yards in 2023. Jackson has a chance to absolutely break fantasy football if the added wide receiver weapons in the new passing game under offensive coordinator Todd Monken takes flight. Remember, when Jackson played with a healthy Rashad Bateman last season, he was averaging nearly 27 points per game. That would have ranked first among quarterbacks scoring over the last 3 seasons. Although it still wouldn't have been as good as Lamar was during his MVP season when he scored more fantasy points per game than any other fantasy quarterback ever. Quarterback Geno Smith, Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith is the prime example of why the late round quarterback strategy is not dead. His high-end range of outcomes projections has him finishing as the fantasy QB 8 overall, ahead of Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, and Dak Prescott. That is hardly a stretch based on his numbers from last year. The Seahawks passer was the QB 8 in points per game, finishing as the QB 6 overall, and all Seattle has done this offseason is add a dynamic first-round wide receiver named Jackson Smith-Njigba to Smith's arsenal. With injuries already hitting their backfield, look for Geno's arm to lead the Seattle offense. His ADP remains too low at quarterback 15. Running back Joe Mixon, Cincinnati Bengals. When you filter the projections by ceiling, Mixon slots in as the RB3 overall in half PPR scoring. Is that absolute madness? Or does the high-end projection have legs? Here's the scoop. Mixon plays on an extremely high-powered offense and is due for positive touchdown regression. He finished second in carries from inside the 10 last year, but scored just 5 touchdowns. He was 6th overall in touches per game. And he has no backfield competition after the Bengals failed to replace Samaje Perine. Travion Williams is already hurt, and Chase Brown is a 5th-round rookie. When Mixon was asked about his role in the offense after taking a pay cut to stay with the team, he stated, "Look at the year we went to the Super Bowl. That's literally what you're going to see this year. If not more. You'll see more." Mixon finished as the fantasy RB3 during the Bengals Super Bowl run. With a potential out in his contract at the end of the year, the Bengals have all the incentive in the universe to ride Mixon till the wheels fall off. Fantasy managers would be wise to take notice. Running back Ramondre Stevenson, New England Patriots. Stevenson owns a top 5 overall running back upside in his high range of outcomes based on his rare skill set as both a rusher and receiver. He's due for positive touchdown regression after scoring only thrice on 19 goal line carries a season ago. And even last year, without him scoring many touchdowns, he still managed to finish as an RB1 in 44% of his games played, which ranks 6th best among running backs. With the Patriots managing his workload during training camp, I anticipate he will be their featured running back as their best player on offense. Stevenson has obvious room to grow from his RB9 ADP, with 0 threatening bodies left on the Patriots roster. Even if they add some dusty veteran, Mondre will still be RB1. Running back Nick Chubb, Cleveland Browns. All rise. The first meeting of the Chubb Club is now in session because my man is going nuclear this year. The NFL's best pure rusher is projected to lead all players in carries, rushing yards, yards from scrimmage, and touches. If touchdowns and catches fall favorably in a year 2 Deshaun Watson-led offense, we're looking at RB1 overall finish for Nick Chubb. He flashed an RB1 overall ceiling in Week 18 of last year. He saw season-high 755% snap share, caught 5 of 6 targets for 45 yards with 1 touchdown, with Kareem Hunt playing a season-low in snaps. Kareem Hunt is no longer on the roster. Wide receiver Jamar Chase, Cincinnati Bengals. Why do I have Jamar Chase as my wide receiver 1 overall? Well, I think he has the highest ceiling as a projected leader among wide receivers in receiving touchdowns this season. Especially in half PPR scoring, Chase is going to give fantasy managers a huge edge with his touchdown upside. And his scoring potential is not hyperbole. In 2022, Chase led all wide receivers in red zone targets per game, 28 in 14 games played, and expected fantasy points per game with a dominant 30% target share. Therefore, he's a strong bet to finish number 1 in red zone targets. The leader in red zone targets the last 3 seasons has averaged over 15 receiving touchdowns. Wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, Detroit Lions. The Sun God slides in as the fantasy wide receiver 6 in his high-end range of outcomes, as just one of 7 rare wide receivers to have a 300-point fantasy ceiling in 2023. He deserves to be in the round 1 conversation, making him a steal anytime you can draft him in round 2. Since week 12 of the 2021 season, St. Brown ranks 1st in target rate per route run, 2nd in catches, and 3rd in first down conversions. If you don't draft Amon-Ra St. Brown, you're going to feel the burn from the Sun God. Wide receiver Brandon Cooks, Dallas Cowboys. I found that drafting real-life wide receiver 2s tends to be a plus EV strategy for unearthing fantasy values. And the projections agree, as Cooks forecast as the, wait for it, wide receiver 17 in his high range of outcomes since joining the Dallas Cowboys. He is the 4th real-life number 2 wide receiver drafted in the projections behind Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, and Devontae Smith. But his ADP is wide receiver 41. Cooks is a smashing value with a ceiling that is being undersold since upgrading from Davis Mills to Dak Prescott. Still yet to turn 30 years old, Cooks slots in as the wide receiver 33 in the median projections, making him a safe bet regardless of if he hits the upper percentile range of outcomes. Keep in mind that Cooks is far from washed. He earned a 22% target share and was a solid deep threat last year, finishing the final 3 weeks as a top 20 fantasy wide receiver. Look for him to put up splash weeks as Prescott's new vertical target. Cooks got more deep passes than every other Cowboys wide receiver combined, not named CeeDee Lamb, last year. Wide receiver Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mentioned Chris Godwin on a previous projection video, but he and Mike Evans deserve some more love. Because if the quarterback play isn't as bad as we all think it will be between Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask, both these Buccaneers wide receivers could finish as top 20 fantasy wide receivers, with Godwin nearing potential as a fantasy wide receiver 1. He's got wide receiver 13 status in his current ceiling projection, another year removed from his devastating ACL injury. He was wide receiver 11 in points per game from week 4 onward in 2022, after another 1,000-yard season, his 4th straight. Given Godwin's yards after the catch ability, 15th in yards after the catch per reception last year, he could make up ground for poor quarterback play. Tampa Bay also projects to play negative game scripts, giving their offense a chance to still finish inside the top 12 in total passing attempts. Volume is king in fantasy football, and a concentrated target share between Godwin and Evans could make both screaming values as wide receivers drafted far outside the top 25 wide receivers. Both wide receivers are projected to finish inside that range in the median projections, despite Mayfield projected as the lowest scoring fantasy quarterback. Tight end Darren Waller, New York Giants. Waller the Baller slots in as the fantasy tight end 4 overall on the high end of the projections, just a few points behind TJ Hawkinson and Mark Andrews. He projects 3rd in receiving yards among tight ends because he's going to be the alpha pass catcher in the Giants offense. Simply just comes down to health for Waller to be an awesome fantasy asset in 2023 because he's a no-brainer to be Big Blue's number 1 receiver for Daniel Jones. Luckily, the injury is baked into his ADP, which is discounted as the tight end 7. Tight end Tyler Higbee, Los Angeles Rams. The LA Rams tight end ranks 5th in projected receptions for the 2023 season, making him a worthy late-round tight end target in full PPR formats. His yardage totals aren't great, but he can provide fantasy managers with a steady floor amid a group of unproven pass catchers behind Cooper Kupp. Last season, Higbee finished 7th in route participation, posting a 21% target share, 4th, and a 24% target rate, 3rd, which ranked among tight ends with 80 targets. DST New Orleans Saints. Defenses win fantasy championships. Okay, not really, but you have to draft one or start one in the majority of your leagues. For me in 2023, that DST will be the Saints. They slot in as the 2nd overall defense/special teams in the ceiling projections, 2nd only to the Philadelphia Eagles. They are projected top 5 in sacks and points allowed on defense because they're the league's easiest NFL schedule based on betting win totals. With soft matchups as far as your eyes can see, New Orleans is the only DST you need to be drafting, and they're undervalued across every single draft platform as the 11th DST in ADP. Pitch and catch, folks. That concludes my list of 12 draft targets projected for monster seasons in 2023. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. And be sure to go to FantasyPros.com to check out the free projections. But before you go, if you want a chance to win a one-of-one ultimate custom fantasy championship belt for your league, courtesy of Trophy Smack, the #1 destination for epic fantasy tournament trophies, You need to subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now, comment below on this video, and that's it. We'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize.